Let's get into the latest Miami Dolphins coaching rumors here on Dolphins Today. Mitchell Rentz from Chat Sports, ready to go through the top candidates here for this job. We're also going to talk a little bit more about the whole Brian Flores situation and everything that went down. Earlier in the week, there were multiple reports out there that Miami was basically zeroing in on two candidates. Mike McDaniel and Kellen Moore are basically the top two finalists here. And there was a report that came out on January 31st that the Dolphins were expected to hire a head coach this week. Here's the thing. In sports and in life, if you're throwing a curveball, you need to be able to know how to adjust to it. Now, this report came out before all of the Brian Flores lawsuits, all the allegations, and everything going on with saying that, hey, Stephen Ross was paying me $100,000 or offered me $100,000 to lose games. Now, as it stands right now, the Dolphins do have 7 candidates, but with everything else that has happened this week, I'm not 100% sure if the Dolphins do go out and hire someone. Now, if they do, you probably know what I'm going to say. We're going to make a video about it. We're going to keep you guys up to date. And with the offseason being the way that it is, I understand how easy it is to follow the team during the regular season. But the real diehard fans, the real people who are like the guys that I want to tailgate with, the dude that I want to watch a game and have a beer with, those are the type of people that watch the shows in the offseason, get ready for free agency, the draft. Because to build a great team in the regular season, it takes a lot of offseason work. I don't want you to miss anything, so turn on those notifications and hit that sub button. Now, I indicated to y'all that there were 7 candidates as it stands right now. Some of them, though, are off the board, including 2 that you see on screen right now. The first, Brian Dable, he interviewed as a Buffalo's offensive coordinator. Now he's the next head coach for the New York Giants. Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator of Dallas. I actually thought that he had a realistic shot of getting a job. It sounds like he's going to stay down in Dallas. Vance Joseph is a sneaky name to keep in mind. Mike McDaniel, offensive coordinator of the 49ers. Now, you got 3 more names on this list as well. Kellen Moore, Leslie Frazier. Basically, ever since the Bills and Chiefs game ended, a lot of the Leslie Frazier hype has slowed down. Thomas Brown, if he were to be hired, and could be another name to keep in mind, it would have to be after Super Bowl 56 because of the way the NFL rules go. Now, one name that is not in terms of a interview was actually the guy who was the betting favorite less than a week ago, someone who was very heavily connected with Stephen Ross. For those of you that have ever been to Michigan, if you go to the Michigan Business School, it's literally called the Ross School of Business. Why? Stephen Ross, owner of the Dolphins, he's a Michigan guy. So Harbaugh, he's going back to Michigan. Like, that's the most notable news. He interviewed with the Minnesota Vikings on Wednesday. There were multiple, and I mean multiple credible people that said, hey, Harbaugh could easily go back to the NFL. The teams that were believed to be linked to Harbaugh were the Dolphins, the Vikings, and the Raiders. The Raiders obviously hired Josh McDaniels. The Vikings are going with Kevin O'Connell because Jim Harbaugh decided not to go there. But as it stands right now, the Dolphins, they did have some interest, but he's no longer available. So here's my question, and this is going to be really important for you guys to pay attention because I'm asking you here, who do you want the Dolphins to hire? Not who do you think they're going to hire. Who do you want the Dolphins to hire? I want you to go down to the comment section right now and let me know what you guys are thinking. Who do you want the Dolphins to hire? As it stands right now, the favorites are Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, and offensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, Mike McDaniel. The first guy that we're going to talk about here is Moore because he has completed already 2 interviews. He is one of the front runners for the job, and I have said multiple times on this show that I personally believe if you're trying to get the most out of Tua Tagovailoa, who at this point, you got to face it, is not a absolute beast in terms of overall physicality and talent, I do think that's Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore has had some success in college in terms of being one of the better lefty quarterbacks. But if you're trying to get the most out of Tua, I would go Kellen Moore. Now, the other name here that has been linked very heavily is Mike McDaniel, who completed his first interview on January 19th. His second interview was completed on Thursday, and the Dolphins fans, they seem to want him the most. I like McDaniel. He's a fun, interesting name. There's no doubt about it. If you're trying to build a run-first offense, he might be the guy to go ahead and do it. Now, out of those 2 guys, who everything that it sounds like from all the reports out there are the 2 front runners for the Dolphins head coaching job, I want you to go down in the comments and let me know who would be the better guy for the job. Type KM for Kellen Moore or type MM for Mike McDaniel. Moore would help Tua more, and I tried to make that as dumb as I possibly could now that I read it out loud. I just like what Kellen would be able to do with this offense. He's a fun, creative-minded dude, and you're not going to put too much pressure on Tua to try to go out and be somebody that he's not. If you want to take pressure off Tua with a running game, because I always say sometimes the best way to help a young quarterback is by going out and running the football, and that's what McDaniel's going to be able to do. Sure, you got to upgrade the offensive line. Sure, you got to be able to find a running back, which is definitely is going to happen. But if I was a running back and if I was a free agent, let's say, and I knew the Miami Dolphins had $68 million in cap space, the most in the league right now, I would be very interested to be joining a system, especially with the amount of success that Kyle Shanahan has had with all of his running systems. Now, before we get into some more news and rumors here around the head coaching search, I do have an awesome deal that I want you guys to pay attention to. Maybe you're a dude watching this right now. You're like, damn, I want that sweatshirt. I want those shorts. Go to chatsports.com/Dolphin sale. I need to mention to y'all, everything that you see on screen is available, but there is hundreds of more items available out there. I do also want you to go ahead and tell your girlfriend, if she doesn't know, or wife, hey, what should I get you for Valentine's Day? Send her this link. She's going to be able to save some dollars. Right now, the best deal on here is what you see on screen right now, this t-shirt. Long sleeve combo. Usually it's over $50. You can get it now for under $35. Even if you're trying to get your girl into some extra Dolphins gear for Valentine's Day, there are tons, and I mean tons of women's apparel, daughters' apparel as well. Chatsports.com/Dolphin sale is the link. It's going to be available for you all in the comments and in the description of this video. Let's continue to talk about Kellen Moore because obviously he is one of the front runners and does have a chance to be the next head coach. He has been credited very heavily with that Cowboys offense, who top 5 in the league, 27.7 points per game. I want the NFL to start looking at some of these young offensive-minded guys. At least that's the route I would go. I know everyone's still always looking for the next Sean McVay. But when you look at Kellen Moore, he has been able to grow very rapidly in the NFL. One of the best young minds. He's played in the NFL from 2012 to 2017, and sure, didn't really have the tools to make it great, but the day he came in, you can even listen to somebody like Tony Romo. He couldn't speak highly enough about Kellen Moore, and he's been coaching since 2018. In terms of Mike McDaniel, if you do want to go with that run-first type of offense, he's your guy. He's worked underneath Kyle Shanahan, and he's been coaching since 2005. Now, he got his first gig in the NFL in 2005, but he also then took, I believe, a year or two off, went to go coach college football here for a little bit. So if you remember in the video, I told you it's really important to listen to the question I'm going to ask you because here's the next question, and it is different. Who will be the next Dolphins head coach? Earlier on, I said, who do you want? Now I'm asking you to make a prediction. Tell me what your gut's telling you. Who's going to be the next Dolphins head coach? I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling my gut, and my gut is telling me it's going to be Mike McDaniel. The more and more stories I hear, the more the fact that I see Dan Quinn go back to Dallas, I do think the idea behind being a coordinator with the Cowboys might be a more appealing job than the Dolphins, especially with everything that came out around Brian Flores. Dolphin fans seem to want him. All the betting odds have switched up to see now that McDaniels is the front runner. But here's what's interesting. Sports Illustrated wrote an article this morning around that they think that if McDaniels is offered the job, that he should actually turn the job down. Here's what Sports Illustrated had to say on McDaniel. This is basically tying into everything that happened with Brian Flores, all the allegations, and with them potentially being offered $100,000 to lose games. Seriously, he should cancel his interview and stay with the 49ers for another season because the Dolphins won't help McDaniels' career. He'll instantly become associated with their messy business practices, plus they'll force him to work with a subpar quarterback, Tagovailoa, and he'll most likely get fired after 3 seasons, which will leave a black mark on his resume. Very, very strong words there from Sports Illustrated, but you know what? You are starting to hear it, and if I was Kellen Moore, if I was Mike McDaniel, I don't know if I would accept the job until I see how the whole Stephen Ross situation plays out, which could definitely put you behind the 8 ball. Now, let's just say Stephen Ross is like, no, I'm going to hire somebody. I'm innocent, and if you don't want to come be a head coach here, then so be it. So let's just say Kellen Moore and McDaniel both are like, until the situation is resolved, I don't want to be the head coach. Then my next question is this: who should the Miami Dolphins go out and hire? Because when you think about some of their head coach candidates, you're not going to get Dan Quinn. Obviously, Brian Flores is gone. Leslie Frazier is a name to keep in mind. Could they wait until after the Super Bowl with Thomas Brown? My prediction is this: I believe if neither of those two guys come, it's going to be Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals. And the reasons why I'm going with this pick are, one, I could actually think that Stephen Ross has the ego or non-ego to try to reverse the whole Brian Flores situation, go out and hire a black head coach. I'll also say that Vance Joseph, a week and a half ago, was the betting favorite to be the next Dolphins head coach. And he's been up and down type of a coordinator. He was not very good with the Denver Broncos back in 2017 and 2018. He does have quite a bit of NFL experience, and maybe you want to go ahead and get another defensive-minded dude, because from what it sounds like, the Dolphins are going to keep their staff. Now, again, I am just picking. I'm doing my best to give you guys my analysis. I hope the Dolphins get the candidate that they want. But the way that this world is going, the way that the whole situation is going, there's a lot of uncertainty right now around the Miami Dolphins organization with Brian Flores and with Stephen Ross.